Welcome back, everybody, to the Tradewaiters podcast, the comic book club where we read a different trade paperback every single week. I'm Daniel, you're Nathan. We're brothers. We read comics.
Yes, we do. Welcome back. If you're a YouTube viewer, we are wearing the same outfits from last episode. Don't even question.
This is the only shirt I own.
It's the only shirt I own. And also, this is the same beer from last week. I left it here. It's all warm now.
We like warm beer.
Yeah. From our beer episode.
Anyway, had to double record because, you know, we love you and we care about our release time.
Uploading on a good schedule.
But anyway, we got different time codes in our description. We got the book, which is Super Sons. We got Back Matter Matters. We got the poll list, but we start with the news.
Big energy.
What news you got?
Daniel, we know that AI generated images are like a thing.
Yeah.
But Todd McFarlane had Spawnuary, which was a contest for Spawn comic covers, and the winner of this contest would get to have their cover printed on an actual Spawn issue.
That's neat.
But artist Luis Ruiz, aka Robot 9000, wins with work that raises AI art questions.
Ooh.
And so images in question were found on Ruiz's Mid-Journey gallery created using prompts. And so there's no official response yet from Todd McFarlane as far as whether he, is aware of this or whatever, but it blew up in like a big article now. So it's probably not going to be a thing.
Yeah.
But that's fucking crazy and cringe.
Yeah, dude. Seriously? Like, why would you even try?
Why would you do that knowing that there are artists trying to break into the industry doing this,
Yeah.
So it's like super cool. I mean, like a really great idea from Todd McFarlane's end to be like, submit your Spawn stuff if you want, and you might have a chance of, being an official cover. And then just to have it be like a Mid-Journey thing is pretty shitty.
Definitely.
So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, then we got a trailer for Alien Romulus.
Yes, we did. Did we talk about that last week?
We talked about it over beers after seeing a movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Alien Romulus, Daniel.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. From the director of, I remember, it's a movie I've seen. I can't remember now. Hold on.
Fede Alvarez is the director. They did Don't Breathe.
Yes, Don't Breathe. That's what it is. Good movie.
And something else. I haven't seen Don't Breathe.
Don't Breathe 2. Don't Breathe Again.
There's another thing. But anyway. Looks pretty cool. It's on a ship and stuff, and it seems very alien-y.
It feels very retro futurist, which is good.
Yeah.
And so like, it just feels like in the same energy as like the first Alien movie. So it feels like a genuine horror movie in like this weird futuristic world. So it looks great, honestly.
Yeah, I'm
excited for it.
I'm excited to read an Alien book.
Yes, we'll finally get some of my friends on for an Alien book.
Yeah. Friend. We only have one extra mic.
Oh, one friend.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool. Daniel, Joker The World, a 184-page anthology, will feature Joker stories by creative teams representing 13 different countries. Remember when they did that for Batman?
No.
And it's like, oh, here's Batman in Beijing. Or it's like, here's Batman in India. But it's like creators representing those countries would write Batman in these different situations. Now they're doing it for Joker. Jeff Johns is doing one of them, I assume America, but it's going to represent, or it's going to be in countries such as Spain, Germany, Italy, Brazil, Mexico, Czech Republic, Turkey, Japan, Korea, Cameroon, Poland, and Argentina. I think this is weird.
I think it's pretty cool.
I think it's cool. Like I love the idea. I think it's really cool to see like different characters, like Batman outside of Gotham and in like Germany or something. Like that's a pretty cool idea.
I was picturing like a Spanish Batman,
Yeah. I think there might have been some of those too.
Something like that.
But it's just like, I don't know if the Joker really fits that format. I'd much rather see maybe like a Superman.
It is the Joker. Yeah.
I think Superman, would make sense to kind of be flying around the world or whatever. But yeah, the Joker seems like an interesting pick for this. But yeah, just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I just kind of like the representation of, creators that we might not see on like a mainline kind of thing.
Totally. So
very nice.
Distillery announces The Big Burn by Joe Henderson and Lee Garbett, the team that was behind Skyward.
Yep.
That one book. So that's pretty cool. We're going to see them in a big Distillery book. But that's pretty cool. I really like Skyward. They also had a different one, a second series after that I wasn't too crazy about, but I still really like Lee Garbett, like his art and stuff. So I'll probably...
What was the series after that?
Dude, it was...
Was it that high school one?
Yeah, it was like a high school one with like shadows or something. Shadecraft.
Yeah, I have that number 1.
I think I had the first 2 and I just like wasn't crazy about it. But this one seems to be pretty interesting because it's described as hell is like a casino almost. And
sure is.
Yeah. Owen and Carly are the Bonnie and Clyde of the 21st century, a slick duo who pull off the impossible heists and have the time of their lives doing it. And when justice finally catches up with them, they think it's all over, and the devil himself offers them a deal, their freedom for their very souls. But they soon find that without their souls, their love is missing too. So they set out to recruit a crew of the damned for the ultimate heist, break into hell, and steal their souls back. So pretty cool.
Neat.
I think it'll be a good first issue to check out. Daniel, you're familiar with Gerard Way?
Yeah.
He's doing a new comic book.
Is it Doom Patrol?
Nope.
I don't give a shit.
Well, you don't like Umbrella Academy?
That's pretty good.
He's doing a new book called Paranoid Gardens, and he's partnering with Sean Simon.
He loves 2-word names.
He does, dude. Umbrella Academy, Doom Patrol.
Like adjective, nouns.
It's going to be a 6-issue miniseries coming from Dark Horse and the writing team behind The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys national anthem.
Oh, I have that.
With the Judge Dredd artist Chris Weston on the series, which Weston said combines Kafkaesque nightmares with sweet Silver Age reveries. So cool. I like that he still does comics. Pretty cool.
What's it called? Scary Flowers?
Paranoid Gardens. Scary Flowers.
Nice.
I like that name better.
Pretty cool.
Also,
good to see he's still doing comics. You know?
I don't want him to,
he just going back to music.
You know, yeah. So
because he still comes out with stuff. I think he just takes time to.
Oh, for sure.
Really nail down a good idea he wants to execute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's still touring around as MCR, right?
They had like a reunion tour
like last year, though.
I don't know if that's still going on or if they're going to continue to do that. Mm-hmm. I think they were like
also he's working on the show and shit too, so it's like that's probably got to take up some time.
Mm-hmm.
But Daniel, are you familiar with Action Comics number 1?
Action Comics number 1, yeah, with
Superman.
Yeah, he's throwing the car.
A nearly pristine issue of Action Comics number 1, the first appearance of Superman, is going to be under auction next month and is expected to surpass the world's highest ever comic book price of $5.3 million.
Is it 9.8?
It is an 8.5 Action Comics.
Is it 8.5?
8.5 Action Comics number 1.
I think there's a 10 out there.
Pretty crisp.
8.5 is like a very respectable like grading.
Very good, especially for a comic book like that old, because that's what, 1938?
Like if you gave me like an 8.5 and a 9.8, I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference.
No, I wouldn't either.
Like it's just like whatever they happen to put it.
Can you imagine how scary it would be for that CGC dude to like,
it's like
to not fuck it up? Like, oh god, I would be so scared.
After like grading like thousands of comics, he's probably like, yeah, whatever.
Dude, probably. It's so desensitized to it.
Doesn't even have gloves on.
But yeah, I mean, there are 10s of Action Comics, but it's probably hasn't been sold in a while.
I don't even think I've seen a 10 of a graded book.
I don't think I've ever seen any 10s.
Yeah, so 9.8 is kind of like the gold standard, it seems. But 8. So
you'd have to like.
I don't see
like a 10 like right off the printer. Like you'd have to know like this is a 10 or this is something I want to keep, and then like you know, do that to it, which could take a lot of money.
And you also have to like ship it to CGC or whatever.
Yeah, or I'd imagine you'd like pay somebody to go out and then like seal it there or something. But
yeah, I don't know. Do you see an 8.5 going for $5 million?
Yes, there was like a shitty like 3 graded comic that sold for like $2 million a couple months ago.
Action Comics?
No, I think it was like an X-Men or like a Spider-Man or something. But it had like a rip in the front cover and it sold for like $3 million still. So
yeah, I look at Amazing Fantasy 15 every now and then just to see. And
just to see if you could afford it.
They have like a 3 point something, you know, and like it's like the whole cover is like ripped off.
Someone wiped their ass with it.
And yeah, it's still like $200.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like,
that would be cool.
It's like if you know, you know, like based off the second page.
Yeah,
or whatever.
pretty much. I want to like get those facsimile editions and just like
there's a shit ton of those.
I know there's so many that are like graded. They sell them at like cons and shit too.
At that point, I would just get like a poster.
Yeah, but I would like to lie to my friends and be like, I paid $4 billion for this.
Okay. So if any of your friends happen to know the significance of Amazing Fantasy 15,
this is the hole in my
they'll
logic.
know that this is bullshit.
I would do it for like an X-Men or something else, like an Iron. Like I don't know. They're not doing facsimile editions for Iron Fist. But
yeah, okay.
You know, something like that. And I'd be like, yeah, I paid like $1,000 for this.
Then they'd be like, who's Iron Fist? You know?
And I'm like, ooh.
Not all your friends are comic friends.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get into the book that we read this week, Daniel.
What did we read this week?
We read Super Sons.
Volume 1, When I Grow Up.
Which is by Peter J. Tomasi and Jorge Jimenez.
And Alison Borges.
And then
Alejandro Sanchez.
And Hi-Fi do the colors. And Rob Lee Letterer. What do you think of this book?
No, what did you think about this book?
I think this book's pretty good.
Yeah?
You don't like it?
I mean, is this like what you wanted? Is this like as satisfying as you thought it would be? Like begging for it for weeks?
I just knew that we haven't read a single Jorge Jimenez book. And he's like a top 3 artist for me.
Sure.
And I think this is pretty good, genuinely. But I think a lot of my enjoyment of this does come from Jorge Jimenez being a very dynamic artist. And
there's dope art.
Yeah, 100%. And I think he makes it feel very like anime influenced and like super fun. And I think there is like really good banter between like the two people, but it's not like I guess the story isn't anything like super unique. It's just like a very fun perspective. I enjoy it. So I like it.
Yeah, the plot was just okay. And I think what really carries it was just like
the energy,
cool moments and like cool panels, you know, with like certain angles that he had with certain shots and whatnot. But I completely forgot like this whole book, like what happens, you know. I just the only thing I remember was like, oh, they're both in it, you know? And then they bicker or whatever.
Like since you've read it?
When it came out, I read it. And then,
okay, gotcha.
And then no, not since like this week.
Yeah, I never read this, so I was always kind of
curious. Never read Super Sons?
No, I didn't.
We were buying it as it was coming out. You read it?
No, I didn't.
I was the only one buying this?
I didn't know you bought it.
I own this.
You do?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I can prove it, probably.
I believe you. You don't need to prove it to me. But I definitely don't have like these issues.
Yeah, I collected it for like at least 8 issues.
Really?
Yeah.
And you're having a good time.
And I was like, oh, so you've never read this and you just wanted to read it based off of Jorge Jimenez and then
just like stuff I've heard about this. And then Sinister Sons came out, so it felt appropriate. And no, I like it. I mean, I love Jorge Jimenez, but a lot of his stuff that he's done has been just like random one-off issues until it was like
Batman.
Well, like he's on Batman now.
What was he on before that to where we were excited about it?
It was the Mark Miller book.
Nemesis? No, that was in between Batman. What was he on before Batman?
Justice League? He did some... I think Justice League with Scott Snyder.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was... Because, like, we were buying that just for the art.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I think I do remember that.
Okay, cool.
I don't know. I like this. I think it's fun. It's a good, lighthearted story. I like the characters. I like the way he draws them. It's good. It's good comics, Daniel.
Nathan,
and you're not going to convince me I don't like it.
Nathan, agree or disagree?
Okay.
Best Superboy design.
Easily
the best Superboy design.
Easily.
I'm glad you agree.
It's great. Cool. He's got like a cool like jacket thing. It's got a zipper.
Yeah.
I don't know why I like the zipper so much, but I just like that idea.
He's got ripped up jeans because he's punk rock. He's probably in some sneakers.
He probably like lands on his knees a lot doing his jumping that he's doing. The sneakers are a big part. I don't know what it is about like definitive like sneakers or something that makes like a really good costume, but I like it a lot. And what I think is interesting about this is that John Kent is like a teenager now because Bendis...
He's 10.
No, in this he's 10.
Oh.
But when Bendis started on Superman, which I believe was after this...
It was.
He like turned him into like a 20-year-old dude because he put him on... He made him like trapped on some planet that had like a different time, dilation thing. So
yeah,
he was aging faster on that planet than he was in Earth time.
That's
so when he came back...
dumb.
And people hate it.
Yeah.
And I get it now because I think this is such a likable version of this. And I like that Superman is in like a fatherly sort of position to be like, to be in a position to give his wisdom.
And you have like so much time, which is like some of the best comics, you know, it's like you're in middle school or whatever. You're in high school trying to be a superhero.
And
and you can't like try and balance that life, you know?
And there's so much opportunity to like stand up to like bullies and shit like that when you're in school. But when you're like 22, it's like, what are you doing?
It's like you just fast forward to adult problems.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Bendis did that, but I don't like him for it.
Yeah. A lot of people really despise him for it. And it's because they like this version better, which I completely agree. I like this version better. At the time, I was like, okay, he's just, 20 now, whatever. He looks kind of older, but I like this a lot better. Because it would be like if it would feel weird if Damian would go somewhere and then he'd come back and he's like 26. And he's like, the age of like...
He better be like 13 for like 10 more years.
Yeah, I know, because he's so because
like we don't need just like half a dozen like like
30-year-old Robins.
20-year-old Robins,
Yeah.
It's like we don't need that.
We need one to be like super young. Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, keep him around. If Batman's like 40-ish or whatever for however long, then
everybody else stays the same age. It's fine. It's comic books. So anyway, let's get into it, Daniel. So issue 1. It opens up on a family hanging out, and there's like a spoiled kid named Reggie, and everybody seems to be like on a movie set, so it's a little bit weird. And then we see Superboy and Damian Wayne's Robin in a fight with a bunch of robot versions of themselves. But then it jumps to 2 days earlier, and Superboy, or John Kent, is going to school, and he's fighting off bullies with like snow fights and stuff like that, until Robin shows up, and he's like, I came to observe you and see what your daily life is like.
Dude, these bullies are putting rocks and snowballs. That's fucking brutal.
You could kill someone doing that.
That would hurt.
Yeah, like he knocks a kid in the cranium and he's like bleeding from like just above his eyebrow. Like if you throw that hard enough, you could kill that dude.
Snowballs hurt.
Snowballs, they do. Snowballs are not soft, dude.
Yeah, they don't need to have rocks in them.
Yeah. Good kid drawings by Jorge Jimenez.
He nails it because like he understands that like they have skinny legs and these small torsos and stuff like that.
Small noses, but like, big faces and like, I don't know, something about it. He just like nails it.
Narrow shoulders.
Yeah. And like a lot of, comic book people kind of struggle drawing kids, but I believe that these are kids.
They're not like toddlers, but like they're right. We can tell like the age
But some
range.
kids just like are just smaller, like adult men, and they still have like wrinkles on their face and shit.
Oh yeah.
I feel like we've seen. So this is cool. And I think Jorge Jimenez gets a lot of his inspiration from anime, because like when the Dragon Ball Z writer, or what do they call them, mangakas or something? Mangaka?
Yeah.
When he died, he was like kind of showing all of his references to like Dragon Ball Z and stuff. And so I think he takes a lot of that inspiration from One Piece and Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that into this, and I can see it.
Because like, very cool. You can, if you take off like all of their suits and their glasses or whatever, you can still tell the difference between them because of things like their hair. You know,
the hairstyle's a bit different,
and that's something that they do in like Dragon Ball. Which is I think is really neat. Like Superboy has his like going forward mostly, and then Damian's has his going back.
Yeah,
and just like these little details that are signifying them is super, super strong. I think.
Yeah, and even if they had like the same hairstyle and stuff like that, I could just tell in like Damian's expression versus John's expression, because John's like a little bit more hopeful, more of a kid, and Damian's kind of more like sassy and like direct. Pouty. Yeah, and pouty.
And Damian's shorter.
And he is shorter, yeah. That's something they talk about a lot in this, which I think is fun banter. But yeah, he's just so good. And I like that this was like a series that like blew up Jorge Jimenez.
And one of my favorite things I think is like one of the hardest things to draw is like facial expressions. And totally. Jorge like annihilates this
easily. Yeah,
every panel is like a facial expression where you know exactly how they're feeling, and it matches to what the dialogue is like perfectly.
This could be a silent book, and I would like pretty much get the gist. It was just pretty cool.
Probably like it more.
Yeah.
Nothing to Peter Tomasi. I'm a big fan, but like
but like to his credit, Damian can be kind of an like too much of an asshole sometimes, and I think he's nailed that balance a little bit with Damian.
He's never really been that redeeming in this, to where like I was like, I like
but
Damian.
It's enough to be like kind of fun because it acts as like a foil against John Kent, like Superboy.
Yeah,
and so he like feels confident enough to be like, I know more than like this kid, because I'm, the son of Batman or whatever.
Yeah.
So I like how he uses that to progress the story.
Right.
But I also think it's funny that he's just like the bus driver as well. Like he's got
an old man mask.
He's got like an old man mask to be the bus driver. And
he's also like the substitute teacher that day,
which is very funny.
He's teaching history or whatever.
Yeah. But later that day, both Batman and Superman go out to do superhero things.
Rebirth suit. How do you feel about it?
Batman?
5 years later. Yeah.
I just need trunks, I think. I like the logo.
Yeah.
I like that the orange aspect of it is kind of just like a bigger outline of the logo itself. I don't need it to be like an oval or anything like that.
Yeah.
I like that the color is there in general. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the trunks.
Trunks are important.
He's got a belt, but I don't think it's nearly there. But it is funny to look at this and think like he just started drawing Batman like a couple years after this, as like the main artist.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I look at this and I'm like, it's funny to kind of have an idea of like the time based off of like how they drew Batman.
Yeah.
Like the Batman suit design. That was very significant.
I will say though, I think he's the perfect Superman artist. I cannot think of a single person that nails that sort of charm and just like the design of the suit and everything like better. Like they're like, I think probably my favorite Superman story is Superman 4 Seasons with like Tim Sale. And he has like a very distinct style with it. But like when I think of just Superman in my mind, it's like this. And there's a cover that Jorge does with Superman.
Where he's sitting on a cloud.
Where he's sitting on a fucking cloud. That one, dude. That is the one I think of in my head.
This is like one of the best covers I've ever seen.
The second best cover from him is a Superman cover as well, where you don't even see Superman, but you see
his shadow
of everybody, and everybody's like, "Holy fuck, it's Superman! Oh my god!" And they're so inspired.
Yeah, dude, I want to print that.
It is such an unbelievably like creative. He's got such a great mind for the spirit of comics. And I think he just nails the Superman. So when he inevitably gets on a Superman book, I'm there.
Yeah,
love that dude.
It's like there's nothing I dislike about his when he draws him, and it almost feels like he puts more time into Superman than he does to Batman.
I think he's trying to nail Superman. Superman.
Yeah,
gig
he's
at
like,
this
I
point.
want a Superman book so bad.
He's like, let me do like probably the best panel you've probably ever fucking seen.
Yeah,
because he's like, oh, let me make sure I like kiss my wife goodbye and like peck my kid on the forehead and then go be Superman. It's just so good. Also,
at this point, he can sell his pages for fat dollars. So he makes these sweet like splash pages or whatever of a bunch of shit. And he's like, this is gonna make so much money.
And one of the things I largely respect about Jorge Jimenez is following him on Instagram and realizing that he's probably the only Superman artist that could reference himself in photos.
Yeah,
because that dude is fucking ripped.
It's nuts.
He could be like a model.
How does he like do like 2 books
and
then also do all this?
Yeah, it's absurd. So definitely I do thirst over him a little bit.
Maybe it's like a home gym or it's like a lot of calisthenics or something.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it, but pretty cool. But anyway, Damian can't go with Batman because he's got some studies to do. And then Damian shows up to John Kent's room wanting his help investigating a hacking attempt at LexCorp. And so Superboy sneaks out with Damian after some convincing. And when they start scaling the Lex Luthor tower, there's like a Superman version of Lex Luthor that shows up. And he's like in a Superman suit.
Yeah, dude, we talked about this recently.
I forgot this happened.
Super Lex or whatever. Lex, I don't know what they called him. He called himself Superman, but no one else did.
Yeah. And everybody like,
this suit is so fucking cool.
It is very cool. And I like it, but it's just like, what happened in continuity to make this a thing? Like, I don't remember either. But one of my favorite panels is this
the DKR one,
the DKR nod.
Yeah,
it's pretty fun. And yeah, I don't remember why Luthor is Superman, but he's got a cool suit. I think this is like an Amazo suit or something, isn't it? Is that part of it?
No, it's something he built. I thought,
but could be, yeah. But I always like seeing Luthor in like a suit of some kind, and this definitely scratches that itch.
Yeah, it's not like a business suit, like a super suit,
like the green, like the Injustice kind of suit. Yeah. If you know. Why
does Damian want Superboy to go out? Like why does he need him? Like, why is he like going to wherever they live? It's not Smallville. It's something near there or whatever.
I think it's where his parents live, like in Kentucky or whatever.
No, it's like. No, it's like close by or whatever, because they don't like really travel that much.
That's true. They just kind of like...
It's like outside Metropolis or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
And so it's like, it didn't make sense. It was just...
He needs him as a distraction. That's what they say.
That's what they say. But like, I feel like you can have something else be a distraction.
For sure.
It was just kind of like that MacGuffin thing to be like, we need these super sons to get together
I didn't think about it too
cause
hard.
a ruckus.
I didn't think about it too hard.
Yeah, anyway.
Issue 2. This is one of my favorite covers, or probably my favorite cover of this thing, but just a lot of cool stuff happening.
It's good. It's better than the first one.
So we see like that weird Reggie kid, but this time we see him murder his family, except for his little sister who's like hiding somewhere, and he calls himself Kid Amazo. And then meanwhile,
scary.
On
like,
come up with a better name, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're not bagging on this book, but I'm bagging on this because, like,
if you're a kid and
you
I'm
have
like,
this serial killer kid,
and I'm Kid Amazo,
yeah, Kid Amazo. I'm like, that sounds like something that you'd buy in like the 50s at like a newsstand.
I think
that
only
was on the shelves.
Reason they did that is so that people are like, okay, Amazo. Then they're like in the headspace of like, this is linked to Amazo in some way, because they wouldn't understand it maybe later. But I don't know. I do agree though. Like for someone to like kill their family and then be like, my name's Kid Amazo, it's a bit lame. But on the Lex Luthor tower, Damian cuts Superboy's rope to create a diversion because he has to like force Lex to save him, while Damian just goes and sneaks into the tower to like plant explosives. But later Lex kind of shows up with Superboy and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? And Damian's like, I planted some explosives, so you gotta go, save your tower. And then they escape.
Yeah, so like when he walks in, Damian's like installing one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Luthor blasts it or whatever, and then it just seems unlikely that Damian would outsmart Lex Luthor just based off of like who they are, because he's like, I hope you can find the other 11, and then you hear all these pings and stuff like that.
There's no reason for him to believe that he wouldn't have done something like that.
Yeah.
So I think in this case, he's kind of like blindsided him, because like he didn't expect two kids to like scale his tower. And so when he's investigating, his guard's kind of down. And then when he like realizes what this kid's kind of capable of, I think this is a believable situation.
Okay. Yeah, because like you wouldn't expect that they're also up to something.
Yeah.
Against his interests or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
Damian Wayne made like an alopecia joke.
Yeah.
Against like Lex Luthor.
And I'm like, that's fucked up.
Here it is.
It's just you're just body shaming.
All that power and you still can't cure the rampant alopecia, Super Lex. I'm like, oh man, that's kind of rude.
Yeah, it is. It's a little.
I'm like, he has eyebrows. Like, it's just like male pattern baldness, I think.
Yeah, or maybe he shaves. I don't know.
No one chooses to be bald.
I think in canon, like Kryptonite fucked up his hairline.
Yeah, it was a kryptonite cancer or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But anyway, so it wasn't bombs that he planted. Damian actually hacked his systems, and he finds the dude that hacked his security before it was cut off, and it was that Reggie kid. But Damian would normally take some time to run all the facial recognition stuff to figure out who that kid was, but John can sift through it all at like super speed, and he sees that it was Reggie, and he has clones of himself that was able to like hack his security system. And I think the scene is cool because it kind of utilizes both of their like potential together to like solve some sort of problem, which I enjoy.
How long did this go for?
This book?
Yeah.
Probably like 20-ish issues.
I'll look it up.
So the Super Sons go to that Reggie kid's known address, and they find out on the way that his family was powered by the Amazo virus that was going on at some point in continuity and giving people powers. But they then find the dead family where the registered address is, and John wants to call in Superman and Batman, but Damian denies that, and he's like, this is my case to crack. And so they split up, but Batman and Superman show up behind them, and that's how this issue ends. Did you see how long it went?
16.
Really? And that's an omnibus size?
So it includes like an annual...
I think there was another Super
Sons / Dino Mutt, which I think was the
like Looney Tunes one.
Hanna-Barbera, maybe.
Or Hanna-Barbera, yeah.
One of those. No, Dynamite is Looney Tunes, I think.
I don't know.
Superman 10 and 11 and 37 38. Teen Titans 15.
Oh, okay.
Adventures of the Super Sons 1 through 12. So whatever the fuck that is.
Oh, yeah. I do remember there being
is that like a sequel series?
I think it's a sequel series, yeah.
Challenge of the Super Sons 1 through 7.
I don't remember that. That's a lot, though. I don't think those were all Jimenez, though.
No. But Peter Tomasi was writing it.
Yep. Makes sense.
Carl something.
Peter Tomasi's doing the Sinister Sons as well. So,
what do I like him from?
Superman.
Did he do Red Hood a little bit?
Yeah.
Or do I know him from?
He's done some Green Lantern Corps.
That's not that.
I know it's not that, but like when you Google like Green Lantern books to read, typically like Green Lantern Corps comes up, and like the main Green Lantern Corps book is a Peter J. Tomasi book.
Yeah.
The Sinestro War, I think, was a big part of his.
I think this next cover is better than the last one so far.
I just like the action that was in the second one. I think this one's fine.
Yeah.
I think it feels fitting that Damian has like a Robin dirt bike thing, because like dirt bikes were the shit in elementary school. Did you ever have a friend that was like, you want to go ride dirt bikes or whatever?
I sure did.
And it's just like, I don't have a dirt bike, but I'll ride yours. You know?
I think it was middle school.
Middle school-ish?
Me,
yeah. So it's, I just
he like wouldn't let you ride it, but like he'd let you ride on the back with him.
Oh yeah, and it was very scary.
Yeah, and it's demasculating, and and you just had to sit there and watch him have fun.
Yeah, pretty much. But I think it fits for Damian because he'd be the kind of kid to be into that. But issue 3, Daniel, Batman and Superman are actually robots or androids, and they end up grouping them together, and Robin and Superboy act like they're like bickering, but it's actually a distraction for a coordinated attack for both of them to get the jump on them. And then Sarah, the girl that escaped Kid Amazo, his sister, is able to slightly control these bots. And her whole family was affected from the Amazo virus that Lex Luthor let loose, but Reggie's mind kept splitting from all of the copies that he made of himself, and it kind of made him go mad. And he is the one that went into LexCorp to steal the Amazo armor to like enhance his powers.
Oh, dude. All right, going back to Peter J. Tomasi. I know him from Batman Arkham Knight, which is like a comic series that was based off the video game.
You did fuck with that.
And it was awesome.
The game that you didn't play.
I did play it.
You played Arkham Knight?
Yeah, I played it on your Xbox.
Okay, cool.
Good game. I skipped all the side missions and just did the main stuff.
I fuck with that game a lot.
Yeah, I remember thinking it was cool.
Arkham City is probably the best one in my mind.
Oh, okay.
I 100% of that game, I think.
Oh, and then Arkham Knight Genesis, that was better, I think.
Because that was like still an Arkham Knight comic.
Yeah, it was a prequel.
Oh,
to it, and it was cool.
That's so funny.
And you know what? I think one of those books was like the first comic that had Bill Finger's name.
That's like a street?
No, Bill's Finger's name as like being credited as a creator of Batman, which was like 2015.
Yeah, that was very recent.
Yeah. And I think I sold him not knowing that. And so I watched that. I didn't know that.
Wait, so that increased the value of that particular book?
Right.
Really?
So
interesting.
I think I sold him for too cheap. And then I saw that documentary. I'm like, oh. But anyway, that's how I know it.
There weren't any other Batman books coming out that could have had Bill Finger's name on them that week?
There was, but I guess not that week or whatever.
Interesting. That's very funny that's how you know Peter J. Tomasi from that random video game tie-in. We should do a video game month.
Oh God, you're not down.
I'm so down. You're not down. I know I play more video games than you,
dude. We're gonna read fucking The Witcher. Exactly.
That was a book first. It doesn't count. I guess Batman
Borderlands
was a comic.
Dude, the fucking first. Fortnite one.
There's a Halo comic.
I'd read that.
I would read that. The Fortnite Batman comic.
Yeah,
it's got Joshua Hickson on there. Which
they had the trade of that in the London airport.
Are you serious?
To buy. Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. Fortnite is such a big reach.
They didn't have a lot of comics there, but that was one of them.
That's insane. That came out like 3 years ago or something like that.
What are the video games? Does Sonic count?
Yeah. He was originally a game, yeah. Sonic comics. Yeah. Somics.
Anyway, dude, you missed.
What did I miss?
You didn't mention. There was like several months ago. It was what's his name's family?
The Amazo family.
The Amazo family, but they're called the Super Duffies.
That is a bad name.
Terrible. I guess the last name is Duffy, so they're called Super Duffy.
But don't lean into that. Choose something else.
Let's incriminate ourselves.
What's good
and
is,
let everyone know who we are.
You're just doxing yourself. You're asking for this.
Yeah.
But like, you can reference names like the Justice League or like the Teen Titans and be like, let's come up with something like that and not Super Duffies. That's pretty bad.
That's tough. Anyway, that was the only thing I had to say about
that. I do like the Looney Tunes like cartoon cloud that they created when they were like bickering and they jump out of it to like get the jump on these Amazo robots.
Yeah, it's fun.
I thought that was fun. But we see the Amazobots start to morph into versions of Robin and Superboy when they're trying to escape. And then Robin and Superboy argue on whether to call Superman and Batman yet. Is it too far now to where we need some help? But Sarah starts to have her body taken over by Kid Amazo, and they get surrounded by Amazobots.
Dude, why do they look like ducks?
They do look like ducks. I don't know why, because Batman looked like Batman and Superman looked like Superman.
It looks like Uncle Scrooge's like nephews.
If they were like bots. Yeah. It's crazy. But Sarah's like barely able to stun them so that she buys Robin and Superboy time to leave. And
what's that called? Like technokinesis or something? Or
I don't know what the power is called, but that sounds right.
Cybernetics?
Cybernetics?
I don't know.
Cyberkinesis sounds about right.
Okay.
People get it.
So you can control robots and shit.
I like that Jorge has like anime action. Like when they're running away, you see like a lot of over exaggerated like movement with like they're running and they're like pretty much doing like splits in the air and shit. But I think that feels refreshing and it's like kind of fun to read.
Nothing he does feels like stagnant or like slow.
No,
like the energy seems to be fast.
All the energy is like over exaggerated, like a Spider-Man comic or something where he's like kind of extrapolating everything that he's doing.
Right.
So it's pretty cool. But Robin, while they're running away, takes the head of an Amazo bot and he sort of tinkers with it and throws it behind him. But then they have to like make a stand and start fighting against a bunch of Amazo bots and they get overwhelmed. So that leads us to issue 4. Lois and Alfred finally catch on that their boys snuck out. And then Robin and Superboy are chained up somewhere and they meet Kid Amazo. And he reveals that his family is alive, but they're heavily sedated and he's been killing their Amazo bots for fun, which is a different kind of fucked up.
So Sarah was a robot.
The Sarah that they saved was a robot, but connected.
has robot controlling powers.
Correct. And so she was controlling her, like that's like her real personality is what they were interacting with.
But does that connect to her current personality, like her normal one?
Yeah, I think she was harder to be sedated. And so in my headcanon, she was connecting to that Sarah bot.
Okay.
And was like, help me, Robin and Superboy.
Yeah, because they like save like the normal human one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is she confused about who these people are?
Yeah.
Because, I thought that was just like a clone robot thing.
Yeah, I did too. And so now he's using the Super Sons as bait to attack the Justice League. But Luthor smashes through the ceiling because the Amazo bot that Robin was fucking around with earlier was sending a message to Luthor. Like that's what he was doing. And so Luthor frees them and there's a big fight. Superboy carries out like the real family that's like sedated to safety. And then they run back in. And when Kid Amazo feels like he's kind of losing like control, he calls back all the Amazo bots to form into him, like into one Amazo. And then Sarah can control all of the Amazo off of him. And then Luthor just grabs it. And so like, is the Amazo stuff just like a goop that like forms into stuff? And is it like the more goop you have, the more powerful you are? Because I don't know why you wouldn't just like start with.
I think if you have more goop, you have more tech.
It seems like that's the case.
It kind of reminds me of like a nano suit for like Iron Man.
Yeah. But you don't ever see the nano stuff as goop. You just see it like form real quick.
It's a little goopy sometimes.
I don't think it is goopy.
Anyway, there were some kind of funny panels of Lex here.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even like a criticism or anything. It's just like
Like this one where
they
he's
just
yelling.
looked like off,
This
you know?
one?
Yeah. So I'm like mostly used to him like scowling and being like menacing looking.
He's very...
But when he like comes into the room, he's like, ah, you know, and then like that panel you just showed.
He's very emotional in this book for sure.
Yeah.
So now that, you know, this is all resolved, Robin and Superboy make a swift escape. But when they get back to John's house, both Lois and Alfred are there waiting for them. And they're in big trouble, Daniel. They're going to get grounded.
Yup.
Lois, kind of fine in this, not going to lie.
Dude, she's bad.
I almost forgot that it was Lois because of how fine she was.
You telling me that you got a 10-year-old?
Yeah, she's like in sweats and stuff. And I'm like, oh,
yeah.
my goodness.
Like a sweatsuit? Like she just went for a jog?
Yeah, pretty good.
Probably best Lois design. I don't know.
My favorite Lois easily.
I don't know if I can't think of a better one.
I can't think of a better like artist to be like, this is my Lois. I guess Clay Mann is a pretty good one.
What?
He did, or like, remember the issue of Tom King's Batman where it's like the double date?
Oh, they switch suits.
The double date? Yeah, they switch suits.
They're both bad in that.
They're both pretty bad in that, yeah.
But you got like Catwoman, but she's also like, Lois Lane on par with Catwoman.
Yeah,
is crazy.
That is insane because she's not
unthinkable.
She's not jumping off buildings and shit. You know, she's a reporter, so it's like it's crazy. Pilates or maybe.
I remember that like some dialogue from that where it's like, Catwoman saying to Lois, she's like, "Oh, these Supermen, they just have so many problems or whatever," and then Lois Lane's like, "Oh yeah, they also have so many abs." And it's like, right? It's just like so dumb.
It is dumb dialogue. Maybe they talk like that. I don't know.
And it was like a very like dense book because they're just like at the fair, and shit. But that's when I'm like, it just dug so deep into me to where I could not forget it.
And so many abs.
They also have so many abs, so it's like the abs outweigh the problems.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it would help a little bit. Issue 5, Daniel. We got a fill-in artist, but still does pretty well, I would say.
Yeah, Alison Borges. Borges.
So the kids are grounded. John's not even allowed to use his powers to do his chores.
Whack.
Which is like, let him use those fucking powers.
Yeah, you can
pick up hay bales. You know, you're gonna make him pick up a hay bale one at a time. But John is upset that they're like moving to Metropolis because he's gonna leave all of his friends at school. So he runs off to Gotham to talk to Damian about it, and he like surprises Damian. So they start fighting for a little bit. But
they lived in Hamilton County. That's where John Kent and like the Kents lived.
Where is Metropolis? Because that's like a city, but what state is that in?
It's not a real place, Nathan.
But like, where is it?
I think there's a map where they like squeeze in
like Gotham and Metropolis. Because those are like bordering cities, right?
I think
in some iterations, I feel like you can see
like
Metropolis.
Lake. Yeah. I think it's definitely in like the northeast.
It feels northeast.
It's probably like.
Do they still have New York? Does Batman ever go to like New York?
Yeah, when he teams up with Daredevil.
That's right. That did happen one time.
Those places do exist. Because I think like the DC universe is an Earth that's slightly bigger than our Earth, or maybe so they can fit Metropolis and shit like that.
No, I don't. I think America maybe is slightly bigger.
No,
like the landmass of America, but I don't think Earth inflated by like one Metropolis and Gotham.
It's probably Metropolis is probably like near Boston, and then like Gotham's probably near like Philly.
That makes sense in my head.
So,
okay, good.
I always figured Gotham is more towards like Chicago, just because they film in Chicago a lot for Gotham.
Yeah, you just think that because of the Dark Knight.
Yeah,
or like the Nolan movies.
Yeah,
best Gotham is the Batman, right?
Yeah, because it
feels like a shitty place to live.
Yeah, it's like in London sometimes when they film and whatnot.
Because I look at the Gotham in the Nolan movies and I'm like, this is a fancy place.
It's just a city.
It's just a city, yeah. So. But the Batman Gotham feels like a fucked up place to live.
In the Batman, Nathan, the city is a character. You know,
it is. When you really think about it,
I hate when people say shit like that. I'm like, shut the fuck up. You mean it looks cool?
It looks, yeah. It has some sort of personality. Is what you're saying.
They just have a funky color. Oh, they make it red.
Oh, it's a bit smoky.
Yeah,
a bit gothic maybe. Fuck. So anyway, Damian and John, they start fighting, and because John, he's like, "Are you an escaped Amazo? You could be," but they figure it out, and John vents to Damian, and then Damian's essentially just like, "Get over it."
Before that, we got some fill-in pages, Nathan.
Yeah, that was very.
Where they had some ads.
No, I'm confused about this.
It's the pagination that it doesn't work because there's like a double page spread right here.
Pause. Great word, pagination.
Yeah, John Layman used it. I have not forgotten it.
That's I forgot it for sure. But what's weird is that there's 2 paginated pages.
Because there's another double page spread very soon. So this was made knowing that there's going to be an ad page.
So on my Kindle, these double page spreads are like a page each.
Yeah, no, on when you
is that Hoopla?
No, this is Kindle. Oh. But like when you turn it sideways, it does like both pages.
But normally on my
Nook
Kindle, it'll show you. No, even like this one's programmed as like certain pages, like different pages. The one that I downloaded, I don't know.
Just the Comixology one?
Yeah, no, the Kindle one. These are like different.
Right, because you're holding it long ways.
No, but even if I do it like this,
because your screen's too small.
No, even on my Kindle, they know it's what I'm telling you that these are individual pages, no matter the way that I read it.
I think you're doing it wrong.
I read it on the Kindle. I read it on the big ass Kindle. It's bigger than that screen.
That's true. But anyway,
so don't fucking tell me what I do and don't fucking know.
It's so funny that happens because I've never seen this before.
Dude,
only on the fill-in issue.
Yeah, of course. Because I turned the page and I'm like, what happened here? You know, this is like, a great picture.
Are they teaming up now?
But it's the one from like the issue before where they jump out of the smoke. So
it's just like panels from different stuff.
It is fun to point that out.
I even looked up pagination to make sure it's a word.
That's a great name.
And it is a great word. Yeah.
But yeah, I like that Damian is just like, get over it. Like, he's not sympathetic at all. He's like, you should embrace change. It's cool or whatever. And then John's like, but I like my friends.
Yeah, because he was like ripped from his mom.
Yeah.
You know?
He's been running around his whole life, just like different places to live.
Yeah, he had no consistency his entire life.
Yeah. So
and then John's like, I like the form.
So this is exactly how like the situation would go. And I think it's pretty cool. But
yeah. And then Alfred comes.
Alfred walks in.
And they got to hide.
And
hide in the Batcave.
There's a dinosaur.
We all know the dinosaur from Dinosaur Island.
You gotta know the dinosaur.
Apparently there's a hatch in his butt.
In his butthole.
And you can jump in it, but their capes hang out.
This is my favorite picture of Damian ever. He's just like pointing to the butthole. He's like, you want to do that?
You know,
he just looks so silly.
I didn't process what he was like pointing at, and that he was pointing at anything.
The punchline of this joke isn't very clear, I will say, because you can't really tell if that's like the dinosaur's asshole.
He's like, I study up there sometimes.
Yeah. But anyway, you know, Alfred walks in, he sees them fighting, and he serves them some dinner, and then he spits some wisdom to them about how Batman and Superman didn't get along at first. And then both Batman and Superman come in, and they're like, you know, yeah, we didn't really like each other at first, but it's nice now that we can relate to each other and talk to each other about stuff, and you should too. And then Superman decides that John Kent can, you know, start using his powers in Metropolis however he wants, but you can only adventure with Damian. And he's like, deal. And so then they just run off and they go on their next adventure.
Yeah.
And that's it. Nice little message there of Superman being like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to convince Lois, but you know, that's a good dad moment.
Between you and me, you can use your powers.
Between us boys, you can use your powers.
Yeah.
And so I like that. And then Brian Michael Bendis fucking took it from everybody, which I didn't even mind at the time.
I feel like there was like a pretty big gap between like the end of Super Sons, or this run at least, and when Bendis took over.
I would just like to see more of this age of John Kent, you know? So I totally understand why people were pissed.
I think you just really got to go to like Rebirth, Superman to get some of that, and then like the other Super Son runs that we found.
You get enough to like, you know, definitely get that. But I could have seen this going for a little bit longer. It's also just like a weird plot point in a Superman run because he was held prisoner by like Earth 2 Justice League, or like whatever the evil one was. What was that event called?
Forever Evil.
Like that, whatever that version of the Justice League was. Maybe Earth 3. They just like kept him hostage on this planet. and would like burn him in lava.
The Legion of Doom or whatever?
That doesn't sound right. I think Legion of Doom is a thing on normal Earth. It's just like the evil Justice League. I can't.
Yeah.
You're going to make me look it up. I'm not going to.
Okay.
But yeah.
And there's a lot of like evil teams.
Evil fucking teams.
I feel like all the other Earths, it's like an evil Justice League.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just care. You're thinking about the one that has like Owlman.
Owlman and like the Ultraman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit like that. There's like an evil Wonder Woman too.
Anyway.
Back matter matters.
Back matter matters. I guess they only had one variant artist.
And good, because I fuck with Dustin Nguyen.
These are the variants that I had. Like these are the covers that I had.
Oh,
yeah,
that's sick. And you sold them?
I might have them. I just gotta kind of look.
He's also very good at drawing kids. He just has like this very fun,
he's got a whole book about kids.
Yeah, the vampire one.
Yeah, what's it called?
And Ascender Descender.
Night Kids or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Blood Kids.
Little Fangs.
Little
Nightmares.
Little Nightmares sounds right. Little fuckers.
Little Vamps.
Hold on.
Little Monsters.
Little Monsters. Good job.
Because there's also like a zombie movie called Little Monsters, and so if you look up Little Monsters, that movie comes up first before the comic.
Seems like an oversight on their part.
It's got Lupita Nyong'o.
Good actor.
And Josh Gad.
He's an actor.
And they're taking care of some kids.
He's got a comic book coming out.
Yep, the writer.
He's the
Don't look forward to it. Anyway, a lot of
Dustin Nguyen. He's great. He does a very good job with covers, and then we see some Jorge Jimenez designs.
Oh yeah,
and concept art, which is pretty cool.
He goes from the low tops to the high tops. Smart choice.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean?
On Superboy.
Oh yeah. Yep. And then we see like the Kid Amazo design, stuff like that. Unused Super Sons cover, which I think this one's pretty good too. I think they did end up using this at some point for like a sequel.
So that was for like, that's the one I saw for the Adventures of the Super Sons.
Yeah, okay. I've definitely seen this one before, so that makes sense. Because it's a good cover.
It is cool, yeah.
Yeah. And that's it. So what would you rate this book, Daniel?
I'd rate this like a surprisingly good episode of Teen Titans Go.
Okay.
Because Teen Titans Go wasn't like made for us,
I still kind of fuck with the show.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's good episodes in it, and if you're a fan, you can appreciate it. And there's like little things in there that are good, but you still kind of fuck with like the original Teen Titans kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not saying there's an original Super Sons, but like
it's got that energy of like
there's good stuff in here. I did enjoy rereading it. Yeah, I remember it fondly. But
it's a pretty quick read as well.
Yeah, it is.
It's a good YA book.
You can knock it out pretty quickly, so I appreciate that.
I would rate this like a love it, but like if they do like 2 scoops kind of deal.
2 scoop love it.
2 scoops for each of the Super Sons, and put some sprinkles on there. I don't know.
Just sprinkles on your love
green. Red and green and blue sprinkles and yellow.
Specify the colors of your sprinkles.
Yeah, I'm like, can I get the red sprinkles, please? And they have to like fucking sort through it.
Okay.
But no, yeah, just I would say love it. It's a very fun book. I love Jorge Jimenez, but it's like a love it that's prepared in the most beautiful way possible.
It's like they're gonna take a picture of it later.
Yeah, pretty much. That's going on their Instagram.
For sure.
So good shit. So let's go into the pull list.
Shove in your box. The pull list, what did you shove in your box?
Dana, what are you picking up this week?
And then we got Black Hammer The End, number 6.
Wow. Yep.
I don't know if that's the last one or not. I haven't read it. We got Sam and Twitch, The Case Files, number 1.
Whoa. Who's that by?
I don't know. I can look at hold on.
Isn't there a Bendis Sam and Twitch book?
Is that Image? Yeah, there is.
That would be
that was fun, something he did like super early. Oh, story Todd McFarlane.
Ooh.
Art Sisman Kudransky.
Not familiar.
Kevin Keane on cover.
Nice. That is a good cover.
Yeah, that's like what you expect like a Sam and Twitch cover to look like.
As long as Sam is smoking and Twitch is skinny as hell, I mean,
and Twitch is tweaking.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pick that up just because that was like my favorite part of the Spawn trade that we read, the very first one,
the Sam and Twitch stuff.
And so I'm fuck with them, and I want to see what they got going on. We got Batman Dark Age #1.
I'm so pumped.
What is that? Kurt Russell? No, not Kurt Russell.
No, he's the actor.
Mark Russell.
Yep, thank you.
And Mike Allred and Laura Allred.
Huge team.
Ooh, boy. If you think we got a lot of Batman variant costumes and Superman Space Age, we'll see.
You're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm picking up Batman Dark Age as well, but also Ultimate Spider-Man #3 is coming out.
Uh-huh.
And then Alan Scott Green Lantern #5 is coming out. And I think that's it. As far as everything I'm getting. Did you know Philadelphia is still coming out? Good for them.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think I've seen a new issue in a while, but I don't think it was canceled or anything.
Do you think the Goon is good?
I see it a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it's like kind of a
I like the
comics
title.
history kind of thing.
I like the title of this one. It's like a new #1 coming out. It's called The Goon, Them That Don't Stay Dead. And I think it's cool. But I think it's pretty much everything I'm getting.
Did you read anything recently?
I did.
What you got?
I read 3 books, 3 #1s.
Me too.
I read Man's Best.
Me too.
Super fun, I would say. Yeah, pretty good. I think it was like a little bit different from what I was expecting, but
yeah,
I didn't really know what I was expecting as I was going in.
The art was what I expected.
The art's great
and was fulfilling to see.
Yeah, I love which is your favorite one? Is it the one with the rocket?
It's the leader guy.
I like the leader guy too. And what's interesting about that is that the kitty you'd normally think is like a girl, but it's a dude. And then the golden retriever is a girl, I think.
Isn't it like a Rothus or something?
Yeah, they have fancy names, but I just like that they have powers or like mech suits and shit like that. And I'm like, this is weird. But I like the dog with the rocket on his back and he just like flies into shit.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny. I also like the aspect of like the don't touch. Like they just know of something as the don't touch and they have to like go find it.
They like talk or like their captions are like in dog. Like,
yeah.
Or
in reality,
dog Latin or whatever.
Talking, yeah, in dog, but they understand each other. But like they essentially the people that they like, you know, they're in space and then they crash land on this planet that just like pops up out of nowhere, like in their flight path. And when they crash, you know, they get all knocked out and they have to find their people and then the don't touch because that part of it was taken from the ship. Yeah. And so there's some weird alien shit going on. Jesse Lonergan is really good at like drawing, you know, animals and shit and weird sci-fi stuff. So I really like it.
Like mech thing.
Yeah, his mech thing.
The clankers or whatever they call it.
The clankers is cool. It's definitely a different style for Pornsak Pacheco.
Yeah, the writing isn't what I expected necessarily.
I think it fits like the Jesse Lonergan style. It's just like a big deviation from like The Good Asian or what was that horror book we read? Infidel. So very different, but I like it. I also read
Dead Boy Detectives.
I haven't read that yet.
Yeah.
I also read Dawn Runner #1 by Ram V.
Dude, my shop ran out.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
I meant to ask you to bring it.
Dude, that artist I think has some of the best sense of scale over like any other artist. It's like a manga like type big, it feels like.
Cool.
But it's basically like, you know, he's creating this like big sci-fi world that I don't quite, you know, understand yet, but the general consensus is that like people are like Pacific rimming into like some mechs and fighting big monsters, and so I fuck with that. But there's like the world that they've created is like there's little bubble cities and that's all that humanity can like defend, and the rest of the world is inhabited by like these big like Titan alien things. But they've over time come to the point where hunting these like big Titan alien things is like a sport, and you know, the main character is like the best at doing that, I guess. And then there's a little twist at the end there, but it's pretty good.
The Bubble Cities always reminds me of Not All Robots.
Yeah, pretty much like that.
Nice.
And then I read Helen of Windhorn, the Tom King.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, Bilquis Evely.
How's that?
Tom King is talking so much, dude. He talks so much. I actually like the concept of the book so far. They didn't really reveal much.
With all the talking,
there's a lot of talking. They don't really reveal much about what's going on, but like you understand the characters. Like there's 3 main characters that you learn a lot about, but not a lot happens in the issue, and that's kind of what I have a problem with because it takes a long time to read, and
that's pretty far up on my like stack. And I looked at it. I'm like, I don't have time for that.
Yeah, like I think it's good. I'm definitely gonna check out the second issue because I think they definitely have the attention grabber, and I'm kind of interested in where they're going with it. And the art's unbelievable. Like that, he just manages to rope in like the best artists to work on his shit. And it just takes so long to read all of it that it's hard to commit the time to it. Because like I did that too. Like last week, I was going to read it and I was like,
Love Everlasting seemed to have good flow to it though.
Yeah, I agree. So I wish he would do more of that. I think that he thinks that good writing is just like a lot of writing, but a lot of the times he's writing what's happening in the panel. And I'm like, Bill Quisavely can do this.
I listen to him on podcasts a lot, and he's like aware that he does that.
Yeah, and he loves comics, and you could totally tell. And it's just like just reel it back a little bit and bring us back to like Vision and like Batman type shit. Because I think he nails.
Batman was good.
Like his Batman stuff is good. I think a lot of people hate it, but I think it's at least an interesting run of Batman. Or like the Vision stuff. There's a lot of talking in that too, but it's very philosophical. But like this, it just feels like captioning what's happening in some of the panels, and I'm not too crazy. But I think I was trying to read it kind of fast too, and so when I would turn the page, I'd be like, "Fuck." So I don't know. I'm gonna give it another try because I think it's good, but we'll see.
That's cool.
Those are the 3 things I read. What'd you read?
I read Man's Best, pretty good. I read Black Widow and Hawkeye #1.
Ooh,
it's pretty cool. I forgot that Black Widow has the Venom symbiote, and so that that was roped into that. And I was like, oh yeah, it's pretty cool. She has these like little like small black spider things that are like that are the Venom symbiote, and they eat people.
Scary.
And they eat their brains to get their memories and stuff. I'm like, oh, sick.
Wait, that's kind of sick, actually.
Yeah, it was really cool. And so people are looking for Hawkeye, right? Because he's been framed, and because he killed like a Russian senator or something when there was like some sort of like American-Russian treaty thing that was going on.
Okay.
But he kills him, and there's like a purple arrow and whatnot. And
he left like a calling card?
It was just a purple arrow.
Oh, I guess. Okay.
I guess that could be his calling card in a way.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of like that classic, like, oh, we're friends, but we like, help each other out when we get in trouble, like all the time.
So is it like, I have to bring you in, but you're my friend?
No, not even bring you in. It's like, I'm trying to find you to help you kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And so Hawkeye's like on the run for a while, and people are coming after him, like Russian assassins and stuff. And Mockingbird is concerned because I guess they're married at one point. Mockingbird was married to Hawkeye at some point.
Okay.
So she's in there for like a second.
I like Mockingbird.
Yeah. And then Black Widow finds Hawkeye, and she's like, oh, I gotta protect you, whatever. And he's like, oh, you don't have to protect me because I did it.
I don't think it seems like the way you pitched it, she knew that.
No, she didn't know it.
Oh, she's like,
so she thought he was framed or something.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
And so like,
he's like, yeah, I did it.
And it ended because like, oh yeah, I did that.
Was there a scene where he's like, I like your new suit or whatever, and it's like Venom shit?
Oh no, he was like, I haven't seen you since that happened, and I have an opinion on that, but those are the things at hand.
That's funny. I like that.
And so it was like good. Stephanie Phillips was on it.
Cool.
She was really good. It was like good writing. It's just I probably won't like move forward with that unless I hear good things. And then I read Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees.
Oh, #1?
#1 and #2, Nathan.
Oh, I read #2. Don't give me spoilers, but how cool is it?
That book fucking bangs.
Oh, okay.
It's so good.
I have to buy it. I have to buy #2 digitally, but I have 3.
It like lives up to the hype.
Wow.
You hear the hype and you're like, okay, let's see how it is. I'll lower my expectations, but it's like so fucking good.
Fuck yeah. Okay, I'm gonna read it like tomorrow then, probably.
And #2 is just as good as #1. You know what I mean? Which is crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's fucked up because it's like such a nice, cuddly little like the concept is like it's in this world where it's just like how would you even describe that? Like, it's very cute, and there's like a bunch of like stuffed animals essentially looking like they're anthropomorphic animals that are very cute.
My thing with that
running around. But,
so the main character is like this anthropomorphic bear.
Yeah.
And she's in the woods at one point, and there's just a wild bear. I'm like, wait a damn minute.
I don't remember that, but that's pretty funny.
No, I was like, how does that work? I'm like, maybe it'll be explained or
cousins,
something.
You know, like, does she know? Whoa.
Yeah, and so I was just like,
we got to write in or something. Like, what is this? That's so fun. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I didn't know.
On the first issue.
So they had like the individual issues on like Hoopla. And so I've been reading those. And number 4 came out like last week, I think.
I think so.
I don't know how long the run is, or like this trade at least. But it's so good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to catch up this week. But good. I'm glad you read that. That's cool.
And it's dope.
Cool. I like that.
And I followed like the it's like writer artist who does it.
Oh, cool.
He like writes it and then does like the sick ass art.
Yeah.
So
it's really good.
Patrick Horvath or something.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. Goated already.
I followed the letterist. Hassan Oatsmain Elhow. I talk about him a couple times, but he seems to always be on like some bangers. And so like he's on the Moon Man thing with like Kid Cudi, and he's been on a bunch of stuff, but he's also got a sweet YouTube channel.
Nice. Did you watch Invincible?
I did watch Invincible.
Dude.
Pretty cool. Rex is still alive.
He gets shot in the fucking head.
He got shot in the fucking head and he's squirting everywhere. But
hey, spoilers, by the way.
Yeah, spoiler.
Dude, and then he's like
squirting everywhere. And
he punches this guy with the arm that doesn't have a hand.
Oh, it was so gross. Because he's holding him still with the hand that he does have and punching him with his stub. And I'm like, that's gotta hurt so bad.
It was just like the broken off like bone that he has.
Terrible. And now he's like recovered from, you know, whatever medical thing that they have.
Yeah.
And he's like talking a little bit different now. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Not in like
because he was shot in the fucking head.
Well, yeah. And I think that's cool. But he's also like happy and stuff and something like, okay, this is an interesting arc. But yeah, it's like, but I think it's good acting because it's like, it's barely like weird enough to be like, oh, he's talking kind of weird, but probably because he was shot in the head. You know?
Yeah.
So I think it's good.
Yeah, but not like being like rude to where it's like a disability
like too
kind
bad.
of thing.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I think they nailed that balance.
Okay, there's a bit where Debbie's like, Cecil's at Debbie's house and they're like talking about, you know, her just taking care of the baby or whatever.
Yeah.
And she goes to like change Oliver.
Yeah.
But their rug is like white.
Okay.
I'm like, why would you do it on a white rug?
That's very scary.
I'm like, whoa. For some reason that distracted me so much.
That's funny. I didn't notice that. Didn't Mark say that Debbie like chews Oliver's food up and like
as like
because he can't.
She's got to baby bird it.
Yeah, she's got to like regurgitate it in his mouth
because I guess like
he doesn't have the enzymes in his saliva or whatever to break down food or something
like that.
And I'm like, that's just gross. Just give him the enzymes, you know. Like I don't need to know that.
It's not even like a detail that seems important.
What I think is cool about this situation is that she's, you know, she doesn't need the help really in this situation. She's not required to. It's a fucked up situation. But what is nice is that Oliver ages pretty fast, so it's not like he's gonna be in the baby phase for like forever, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. There's like the Amber stuff with Mark, and they're like, how do we be in a relationship together? It's kind of tough. And then we see Art in it. I love Art, and he's like, just go talk to her, you know?
When since like Sarah's seen like Star Wars recently, I was like, oh, that's Luke Skywalker. She's like, who's Luke Skywalker? I'm like, Art is Luke Skywalker. She's like, what? I'm like, the guy
that plays him.
And she's like, oh, I'm like, he's old now.
He sounds way different, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. And like he has like more rasp to his voice or whatever.
He sounds more Joker when he portrayed Joker than he sounds like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. I guess it may seem like they were breaking up. But they also hadn't. Like went to go talk to people about them breaking up. So I guess they aren't.
They're figuring it out. Because Amber also feels pretty bad. Yeah. Understandably. Or like, I think from her perspective, she feels like she's trying to hold him back, but like is being the most understanding person that she can be, I feel like. But I like that she went and talked to Eve about it. And like, I really enjoy their relationship.
That's also like a time where you don't really have much to talk about when you're like in college.
Yeah.
And you really just are like working and going to school.
Mm-hmm.
Like social life gets kind of like,
like she's busy too, for sure.
A lot. Yeah. You don't have much to update each other on.
So when they like went and found time to like go get coffee or something, they're like, this feels like a first date. And I'm like,
yeah,
I could, yeah, it's good. Mm-hmm. What else happened?
So Mark realized that his dad was putting like stories about being a Viltrumite like in his books.
In the books.
And could have like
some
secrets on how to kill like Viltrumites maybe.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then Alan Allen has this like scanner thing where you can just scan like whole books with this like little wristwatch thing.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, maybe that's how they read stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did they fight in space? Him and the Immortal?
He like, yeah, that was this episode,
okay.
But it wasn't really like a fight.
Yeah. I like that the telecommunication is just like one way. And so like if he's talking to Mark, like the Immortal is just like standing there. That's just like a dumb bit, but I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, good episode. I'm excited. So we're moving into the last 2 episodes of the season, I believe.
That sucks.
It does suck.
Because like we just got it back.
I know.
And then it's like almost done.
It's a little fucked up, but I'm excited to see what that turns out to be.
Like I know they were already renewed for like a 3rd season, but I feel like comparatively, maybe this 2nd season isn't as good as the first one.
No, but I think it needs a couple episodes as like an aftermath of what happened in the first season, like at the end of the first season, and it has to do that.
I'm sure the like finale will be really cool.
Yeah, I think so.
But
I mean, there's been good action in this.
It almost feels like comic nerd blue balls when you like know what's going on and you know what's coming, but you also might not get that by the end of the season. You're just like, we're so close.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just a little bit longer.
I think they would have to do like Angstrom Levy stuff, like more so in these last 2. I thought it was going
to be the season of Angstrom Levy.
Yeah, I thought this whole season was going to be, but he was just in that one episode, I'm pretty sure, right? And so it's like...
Did you watch the after credit of this episode?
No, I didn't know there was one.
Yeah, I was slow to get the remote, and so it pops up. It's just him getting a suit, and then he walks...
Oh, I did see that.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it would have to be that, I guess. But even if there is a big Angstrom Levy fight, it's like it doesn't really feel earned. Because like we saw him in the one issue, or in the one episode, so I don't know. But we'll see. But I think it's hard to compare it to the first season because they made such a banger, and it's like it's a story that sets up such a good banger in the beginning, and you have to have that portion in like the beginning of this season, which is just like reflecting on what the fuck happened.
Yeah,
kind of like how Marvel feels like it's still kind of like a post-snap sort of era. It's like, man, that was fucked up, wasn't it? You know?
Yeah.
So I think it has to have that, but I still like it. There's still been some really good action and shit, just not as much drama, I would say.
Yeah.
So good shit.
We watched The Phantom Menace.
Nice.
Yeah.
How's that?
For some reason, like her class is weird. Like it's having her just watch like the first episode of like each trilogy.
Okay.
Like last time it was like
New Hope,
and then we watched like the Toys That Made Us episode of Star Wars, and then The Phantom Menace.
I haven't watched that Toys That Made Us, but
really, it's really fucking good.
It sounds good. Yeah,
it's very cool. Like I remembered a lot of it, but rewatching, I'm like, this is a good episode.
Okay.
The first thing she said when she saw Darth Maul, she's like, blackface. And I'm like, there's red in there. There's red in there.
There's a lot of red. That's funny.
It's really funny. And she thought like Darth Maul was like scary. I'm like, good.
Okay, yeah.
And then she knew like how infamous like Jar Jar Binks was or is. And at the end of it, she's like, I don't get what the big deal is, you know, about him.
I didn't either.
Yeah, she thinks that he gets like a bad rap or whatever.
I think he does.
Yeah.
Like he's like a bit obnoxious for sure, but I think just because we grew up with him.
Yeah, he doesn't help really, but
yeah.
Do you remember when was the last time you watched that one? Long time?
Phantom Menace?
Yeah.
Probably like 2 years ago.
You remember that bit where like Padme, what's her last name?
Amidala.
Amidala. She like isn't always dressed up as like the monarch queen or whatever.
With, like a bunch of makeup and shit.
Yeah. She like switches out with like Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
Because that's like her handmaiden, but they look similar.
Yeah.
So after they revealed that they do that, like at the end of the movie, Sarah's like, I called that. I'm like, you didn't say anything.
That's so annoying.
Yeah, and because like I was watching it and I was like, oh, this is so cool when they do that. That was like my favorite part for some reason.
Oh,
just because like I never really watched it like knowing that, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, this is so cool how like effective it is and like why they do it and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to tell her about it, but I'm like, oh wait, no, I think they reveal it in the movie. And then she just says, like, oh, yeah. I was thinking it.
Oh, sure you were, yeah.
Yeah, me too. But anyway, it's pretty good.
My favorite part of that movie is that dude that like motorboats to talk.
Yeah. The fucking like
I forget what they even call
whatever
them.
the Jar Jar like species is.
Gunga or something like
Gungan.
that. Gungan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fucking Duel of Fates hits so fucking hard.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I was like,
and he could have used the force dash for those fucking red barriers to get through faster, but you didn't.
I was like watching it, like my mind's like blown seeing this fight, and then Sarah's just like, just watching it. I'm like, you don't understand how like this is so like cool. The best song in Star Wars.
Yeah,
and then like one of the greatest fights, you know,
totally.
And he's got a double bladed lightsaber and
shit. Such a big deal.
Yeah, I think we watch Solo next or like Rogue One next. I can't remember.
Both bangers.
Yeah. So we'll see.
What's your favorite Star Wars movie?
Revenge of the Sith.
Good one.
Yeah.
I think that's the one I've seen. I haven't seen the longest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's one I'll just like turn on.
I think
without like a marathon.
I'll do a Star Wars marathon at some point, but if I'm like feeling kind of bummed out, you know. But I haven't felt bummed out in like a while. But I'm waiting.
Yeah.
If I'm bummed out, I'm turn on the fucking movies and it'll be good.
Oh, dude. And then like the pod racing is exhilarating.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I just kept thinking about like the Lego Star Wars level.
Yeah.
And how much fun. And
it's so infuriating.
And it just looks awesome.
And you're like, oh, there was a shortcut right there. You could have done.
And like he hits those little like things out of the ground, like the little like they're like little sticks that come out of the ground. I'm like, oh, those actually get you like coins.
Yeah, if you break them.
Yeah, you're not supposed to hit those. It's like an out of bounds kind of thing.
Yeah,
but
there's also like a super old. It's like a pod racing game. Like it's just pod racing.
Nice,
and it's pretty fun because there's like different stages and shit that you could pod race on.
Oh, cool.
It was like a super old like Game Boy game or some shit like that, and I played like an emulator of it when they resold it for Xbox. I think.
Ooh,
maybe it was like a PS1, but yeah, super fun.
I might have that for Switch. But anyway. But we watched Late Night with the Devil, Nathan.
Yes, we did. With David Desmalchian, a comic book writer.
Yep.
He's done something recently, but he's doing something with Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, it's like Samurais and
ninjas or
zombies or something.
Yeah. Not a great title.
Samurais and Knights?
I don't know. There's samurais in there, surely.
Yeah.
But this is good. I think the concept definitely carries it because it's just kind of fun. It's like a
cool idea.
Late night TV show host that's like not super great in ratings, and he's about to be canceled, so he's got to do something kind of desperate. And so he, brings somebody on that.
The idea definitely like carries, and the vibes and how closely they resemble like late night shows is like what
and he like
makes it so strong.
Looks like he would be a late night show host.
I think maybe if you told me that before seeing the trailer, I'd be like, okay. But like he like sells the shit out of it.
He does. And he like sells like the improv that he has to do to be like, well, folks, I guess we'll do this after some messages or whatever. Like, like I think he does that so well, and he like does like the thinking on his feet like very quickly type thing, or like making a joke after something like fucked up just happens.
Yeah.
Because like they summon like a devil or like a demon into like this little girl, and the girl like looks at him, and he's like, what was his name? John or something? Jake?
I don't know.
John Dory. And he's like, I don't believe we've been acquainted or whatever. I think that's just very funny.
The After These Messages things was kind of interesting because it almost made like a timing that you had in your head. Like after like so much stuff happened, I'm like, oh, they're gonna have to cut to a commercial soon.
Yeah, and it's like, how are we gonna cut to commercial during this, like right now?
Yeah, there wasn't any like prolonged part just because there's more there. It was kind of like every 20 minutes or so there's going to be like a commercial.
I do enjoy the perspective that it's like everything in the movie is like footage of the show.
Yeah, like what the audience at home would see.
Yeah, but there's points in that where they break that rule.
How so?
Like at the very end, everybody's running away because like some fucked up shit happens.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it still like cuts to like almost like drone shots that are happening and shit too. So I'm like, how did that work?
It's not
was there one guy?
It's
that
not
was
like cameramen are like, I gotta get this shot. You know?
Yeah. It's not like they're like, holy fuck, that's a demon that's like here right now, so we gotta go.
Right.
But a lot of the horror is cool. I think like the build up. There's a lot of it, but the show, like the movie's entertaining enough to where it's like, this is just like fun to experience kind of deal.
I was almost just like, all right, nothing scary for a little while, which is good. Because I'm like, I love horror movies, but I'm definitely like a bitch about horror movies.
Oh, really?
You know, like I'm not looking forward to the scary parts.
Yeah.
I like more like reminiscing about scary movies than actually watching them.
I don't know if I've really been like super spooked by anything in like a while, which is good. Because I haven't seen them that much.
Yeah.
Because Sophie, my girlfriend, hates them. We've only seen like a couple horror movies, but she came with us. I was very proud of her.
Yeah, that was
Shout
cool.
out Sophie for coming and covering her face during the scary parts and covering her ears because she hates pop-ups. But
dude, there were so many studios involved with this movie.
Dude, it was like an SNL skit.
It was like a game.
Dude.
like one more. There was like 10 studios that helped make this movie.
At one point I leaned over to Sarah and I was like, I think I'm betting on 2 more. And there was, and I was right. But yeah, it was just like, you know, this studio and that has a little animation.
And it's like a Shudder movie, like a super low budget thing. And so like there's nothing that you recognize. So it's like they're all made up.
There's like 9 of them.
It's probably one for every person that worked on this movie, you know?
Dude, and you were like giggling. And I could hear you giggling.
Every time
I saw I'm like, this is kind of funny.
Because me and Tom were having that same conversation. Be like, oh. I wasn't sure. And then I'm like, no, there's another one.
It's hilarious. Yeah, there are a lot. And I think it's because it's a low budget movie or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah. So what I thought was like a neat bit of this is that like the first couple minutes is like, they almost set up as like a documentary kind of thing.
Yeah.
To where like, oh, this is the footage of this fateful night or whatever on Halloween in 1970 something.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then also included like these behind the scenes shots, you know, in between takes and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So we didn't get any ads or anything. So we got to see this behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Which,
it turns like black and white and shit, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it was neat. And
a lot of the characters are pretty believable because there's like a guy where he's like, this is one of the marketing people. You got to go like kiss ass to them like during one of the breaks. But like during all the breaks, there's like, yo, this dude you just had in your show like died. So it's like, and he's got to like deal with that and shit.
Yeah. Like his manager. Or whatever.
Yeah, his manager. And like, yeah, I just like, it's interesting seeing how far he'll go just for like ratings, you know, as well. Because it's like, the thing that he cared about the most is gone in this movie. And so it feels like this is the only thing he has left for him.
Yeah.
And so you could tell he's willing to go like a little bit further. Mm-hmm. It's just, yeah, I think it's really well made.
Yeah, it's definitely quite a vibe, especially being set in like the 70s. Mm-hmm. And it almost felt like the special effects and stuff were effects that you'd see in like a 70s horror movie.
Yeah.
You'd almost think like in a modern setting, like watching it now, you'd be like, oh, I'd want something more like updated, but like because it was set in that time period, it was almost kind of fitting to see these effects that were kind of that level.
Yeah, there was like some practical like body horror stuff.
Right.
That was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, no, I always love like practical over like the CGI stuff in horror.
Yeah, there's definitely a big CGI moment in this that I thought was an interesting way to portray like the devil or the
like the end.
Yeah, the end.
Yeah, that was
because it was very electric, you know. And I was like, this is an interesting way to portray this.
It felt like kind of Ghostbusters.
It kind of made it less scary because I was like, what the fuck is that? You know?
At that point you're just like along for the ride.
Yeah,
and just seeing how this wraps up.
Yeah, 100%. And there's like a whole trippy sequence at the end, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like it. I definitely recommend it.
AI is bad though.
AI fucking sucks. It sucks that was a thing in this movie.
Yeah. I wish I didn't know that it was a thing before, but also they probably should just like paid a guy or something.
I hope that they get enough backlash from this that they like when they release it to like streaming or DVD that they've like paid somebody to just like
and they just
make essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
That would take somebody like an hour, I think, if they know what
There's
they're doing.
There's people on like Twitter that have fixed it.
That have done it like for free. Like pay them like $1,000. They're like,
oh, I did this in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And they've like made back their money like so over just like their first weekend.
Totally. Yeah.
And so they can.
So it's just like.
And what sucks about it is like it's like super low budget, right? This is the first Shudder movie I've ever seen.
Yeah,
right?
I haven't seen any either.
Shudder is like is
that a good studio?
It's like a subsection of AMC that does like horror movies, and they're all super low budget, like maybe $1 million for a budget, you know?
Okay.
And during this, we saw some other Shudder like trailers. Like there's like a Nick Cage one that I saw before, which seems cool.
Oh, cool.
And so I want to be like supportive of these like, you know, lower budget horror studios and whatnot.
But you can't have like, AI generated,
especially if it's like potentially like a flagship movie, you know, that has like a big name actor in it and whatnot. You can't just like have that. So hopefully they fix it and they can put this behind them.
Like we have to, you know, if they can use AI generated images, and I always try and say that because it's not AI art, it's not really art.
No,
it's generated images. But like if they can have like 3 images in this movie or whatever and it's successful, what's stopping them from doing like 4 or 5 or, you know, doing just full backgrounds or full,
you can't be telling just one or whatever.
The absolute ceiling has to be 0 and we have to like keep it there. Because otherwise we're just going to be... I saw an analogy on Twitter. It was an episode of SpongeBob where they were making Krabby Patties out of that machine that would like poop it out and it's like all gray and they spray paint it. They're like, this is what AI art is going to feel like if we let it like go too long. And I was like, that is such a good example because it's all just going to be the same shit. Just like
SpongeBob's still relevant.
Yeah, it is, dude. It's so good. They didn't even know what they were doing back then. But yeah. Like everything will feel like that if we just let it get to that point. So it's got to be nothing. So hopefully there's some, I don't know, sort of control on that or whatever. And it sucks that it will maybe potentially affect this movie, but I mean, they should have maybe known better.
Yeah, dude. I went and looked on like Letterboxd and it felt like a majority of reviews, people were review bombing because of that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to give this like 0 stars because of a couple images that weren't that important.
For like, from like a few bad actors.
It shouldn't be a thing.
But like, I feel like if like David Desmalshin was like directing this, you know, that kind of thing wouldn't happen. I think it's just
the fact that I'm seeing this dude that we've seen in big movies like kind of do a smaller budget thing and really do well with it.
Yeah, he cares about
like a cool thing.
He cares about the craft for sure. So it's like it doesn't feel like super malicious from like everybody involved in this. It's just like somebody made a bad call, it seems like.
Yeah.
So hopefully they learn from this.
I saw a dude review it. He's like, I love this movie, but I give it less than I take off like half a star because of the AI.
Totally.
I'm like, I can agree with that.
Yeah, that 100%.
Like it was maybe like a 9, now it's an 8 or whatever. But yeah, this one was a vibe.
Good vibe.
It would be a good put it on at the Halloween party thing and then
definitely
just have it on kind of thing. So Nathan.
Yes.
What are we going to read next week? What are we gonna read next week?
Is it your birthday week?
It sure is.
Oh, God.
Everyone's favorite time of year.
I know. The different time of year is my birthday week.
Everyone remembers the great last year episode where we reviewed the beef.
Was that when we did it?
That is.
Oh, shit.
It was a short 1 year ago.
Are you gonna make me read something weird?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. What are we reading?
All right. I don't know if you've heard of this.
Oh, shit. You have it already.
But this is called Trouble.
Terry Dodson art?
It is written by Mark Miller, illustrated by Terry Dodson.
Ooh, I like Terry Dodson. I've never heard of this.
Here's what you're going to do. It's a Marvel comic. You're not going to read the back. You're not going to look up anything on this. You're just going to start reading this.
Okay.
And then you come back.
Okay. That sounds good. That makes me think that there's been some sort of controversy.
You know what? Let me read something.
Okay.
All right. First line on the back cover. It's one of the most controversial stories Marvel has ever produced.
Wow.
So Marvel's selling it like that.
This is when Mark was trying to be very edgy. Is what you're saying? Are you giving this to me?
Yeah. I read it already.
Oh, okay.
So you can read that copy.
Yeah, I'll take this.
So you can buy it. Don't flip through the pages.
I want.
And so I heard about this a long time ago because I heard that people, had mixed reviews on it. But
I can't wait.
And Ash Avenue Comics had it. I'm like, I fucking love this store.
I'm excited.
I bought it when they had a sale. I'm like, and this is like one I've been holding on to, because after the beef, I'm like, I need to do this every year. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And so we're at trouble. I know we just read a Mark Miller book, but
he's such a titan in this industry. It's like it's hard to get away. Yep. I've never heard of this. I'm surprised that you know about it and found it.
I'm very excited for you. I read it so that you could have the physical version.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So
sweet. Well, that's what we'll read next week. If you know what that is, you can look forward to that.
If you don't know what it is, please check out the episode anyway.
I think the most controversial thing we read so far is like Irredeemable Ant-Man or some shit. So
yeah.
Hopefully this will probably take over that.
It's in the ballpark.
Okay.
Check out the link tree in the bio. You can like, comment, subscribe, check out the video and whatnot.
Yeah.
Email us in. Tell us if you like this Superboy design the most.
What did you read the other Super Sons stuff? Is it good as well?
Yeah. Have you read Trouble? Do you know what Trouble is?
What is Trouble? I don't know.
Anyway, email us at tradewaiterspod@gmail.com.
Got our link trees and stuff.
We'll talk at you next week.
All right. Peace.
All right. Bye-bye.